Let's see what else. Caitlin, your husband watched the baby while you ran. That's amazing. Unplugged dinners. Oh, so much good stuff. Survived the first day of 30-day breakaway. Yes. Who on here walked like in between every sprint? Because that was me. No shame in my walking game, but I was like, jog or walk. Oh, I'm definitely walking. So, got to talk with my mom. Oh, I love it, y'all. 9-month-old slept for 3 hours. Oh my gosh, Alicia, Lord bless you. You need to check out Moms on Call. I could not survive if my child did not sleep, but that's an amazing feeling. Renewed mindsets of determination. I love that, Olivia. So many cool things. This community, yes, Lauren. So cool. I love it. I love just reading what God's doing and how he's working. So thank you for sharing. Well, I'm excited about tonight's team call. I think it's going to be really awesome and excited to just share my heart with you guys. And tonight we're going to be talking about productivity, which I feel like is like the number one question that I get on Instagram and like in my DMs, not just from coaches, but just people in general. It's like productivity. Obviously I am an Enneagram 3. Some people hate the Enneagram. Some people love the Enneagram. I just think it's insightful. But I'm an Enneagram 3. So like checking things off of a list and productivity is something that I love. And so tonight's topic is literally right up my alley. And so I'm excited to dive into it tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys and we will get started. Before we do though, I just want to give a quick shout out. Let me just pull it up here. To all the ladies, I haven't had a chance to post it because I just received it on over the weekend. Trying to get it to pull up. But the final Changing Lives Club for September. Let me see if I can get this to pull up for you guys because I want to show you. Let me see if it'll work. Okay. Let's see if everybody can see this. Amazing, y'all. So many people, just lives change, whether you hit Success Club or not. It's just really cool to see how God continues to work. September is a hard month. Like, I'm just going to call it what it is. October, we have a launch of a new program. So in September, you're kind of like in between program launches. So that's weird. And then you throw in back to school and you throw in like sweater weather and people are like, they're layering on the clothes. They're not thinking about like wearing shorts anymore. So you throw in all of these things and it makes for a little bit more of a difficult month, but so many of you did not take your foot off the gas. I want to give Madison Cooper a shout out because this was her month 2 of Success Starters. And we had a little get together the other night and for like girls who live here locally. And I think she said she sent out 120 invitations in September or something around that. Guys, that is insane. That is amazing. That just kind of shows like how much it does take sometimes. And I reminded her that obviously she probably sowed a ton of seeds that are going to later on be watered and grow. But I'm just so proud of you guys because I know that behind every single one of these numbers is obviously a person and a woman or a man and a life and a family. And so I just hope that we never forget that these are real people and we're really helping them take that first step that could potentially be a game changer for their entire family. And so I'm just really, really proud of you guys. So way to go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys for the PowerPoint for tonight. Let's see here. Just get it pulled up for you. Where did it go? Sorry. Let's see. Okay, can you guys see that? Can everybody see that? Okay, there's probably like a better mode I could be in here. Okay, there we go. I think that's presentation mode. Can everybody see that? Just if you can, let me know. Everybody can see it? Yes, thumbs up. Okay, perfect. Thank you guys. Okay, cool. So I'm really excited about tonight's topic. Like I said off the top, productivity is my happy place. But tonight we're going to talk about productivity meeting efficiency. And this is really, really important. So off the top, I just want to go ahead and kick things off with the definition of productivity and the definition of efficiency. Productivity is the quality, state, or fact of being able to generate, create, enhance, or bring forth goods and services, okay? So this is literally producing a good, a service, something that you are giving to people. Efficiency is the state or quality of being efficient or able to accomplish something with the least waste of time and effort. And what I have personally found is that most people are either super efficient or super productive, and very few people are kind of both. So did you know that you can be super productive but still not finish anything? And you can be super efficient but still run out of time. And so really the jackpot is finding that happy place of being productive but also efficient. And so that kind of brings us to kind of the bottom line here. So when you're productive, you're constantly producing, but are you producing the right stuff? And these are questions that you guys can really be asking yourself. And are you finishing anything, or are you just wasting time starting new projects? I'm sure that we have people on this call, I know myself included, I can definitely be like an ideas person, right? So like I can be thinking about all of these things that I want to do for my clients. Anybody else relate? Like, oh, I want to do this for them and this for them and that for them. And I start all of these projects, but then I never really finish them. Or maybe I've got like so many ideas going all the time that I'm not really refining them and kind of simplifying them and taking time to actually see if they're going to do anything, right? Like, anybody else relate? Like you're constantly like, oh, I need to revamp that. But it's like, well, I didn't even give that time to actually play out to see if it was going to work. But when you're efficient, you get things done really fast, right? But because you know you can get things done quickly, you tend to procrastinate. Hello, that is me. So, you know, in college, when you have this huge paper due and you wait till the day before, and it blows everyone away and they're like, man, you do things so quickly, but it's like, okay, I stressed, like really stressed for 48 hours about getting this thing done because I said I was going to have it done and I want to be a person of my word. But because of that, this whole thing is stressing me out, right? So the bottom line here is that you need to possess both skills to reach maximum performance in both your business and at home. And this is really important because if you are going to do this business, we want for you to be efficient in it, but we also don't want for this business to cause you stress at home, right? Like we don't want it to have to be one thing or the other, right? We don't want it to be, oh, well, yes, like I do want to hit Success Club this month, but that means that you know, I'm going to spend the last 2 days of the month literally doing nothing at my house to then frustrating my husband to then causing an argument to then, you know, it snowballs, right? Whereas if we were just a little bit more maybe productive with our time through the month, then we would have had different things going on and we could be efficient with our time. Then we're not waiting to the last few days and procrastinating and waiting till 2 days before the month is over to hit Success Club. You know, we're actually planning ahead and we've got a system and a flow for how we're doing this business. Because if you're not careful, this business can kind of eat you alive if you're not working on it proactively, right? And that's how I want to be. I want to be proactive in my business, not reactive. Okay. So that's something I think about a lot. Am I being proactive or am I being reactive? Am I just reacting to the new things that are coming out, or am I thinking long-term? Like with 30-day breakaway, if today was the first day you thought about, maybe I'll do a 30-day breakaway group, probably not the best idea, right? Because you're being reactive, right? It came out today. You're like, oh, well, maybe I should do it. You should have been thinking about doing 30-day breakaway 3 or 4 weeks ago and getting an email list going or a Google form going and getting people kind of thinking about it and teasing it and that kind of thing. Being proactive in your business, not just being reactive to what's happening. So I love this quote by Tim Challies. I think that's how you say his last name. Productivity is effectively stewarding my gifts, talents, time, energy, and enthusiasm for the good of others and the glory of God. Mic drop. That is what productivity is. That's what I view it as. It is literally stewarding my time, my energy, the things that I'm doing. And when we start to look at this business and how we approach it, and our things that we do at home and our things that we do as a wife and a mom, or maybe you're not, a mom yet, but even as a wife, or maybe you're not a wife yet, but even as a college student, like, or how are you stewarding this thing that God has given you? How are you stewarding this business that God has provided for you? He's given you this opportunity. You've put your yes on the table, but how are you stewarding it? And that is really what productivity is about. And so that's what we're going to dive into tonight. Okay, so let's talk about some practical tips that work for me. And this is kind of the meat of our conversation tonight, but I really wanted to start it off with us thinking about, okay, productivity and efficiency, and because that's what we want to do in this business. We want for you to be creating and doing cool new things, but also doing it within reason that makes sense so that you can still be famous in heaven and at home first. And that is our goal for you. Okay, so number one, have monthly, weekly, and daily plans that work towards your goals and alleviate daily to-dos. Okay, so this is really important. This is something that I do in my business, and I'm gonna break it down for you guys of exactly what I do here on the next slide. So a few things that I do. So monthly, I have a team calendar. Our team calendar is pinned at the top of our team page every single month. On that team calendar is every single thing that is going to be happening in the business that month, or in our team, pretty much in the business, because all the business Beachbody stuff is on there and stuff like that as well. Every single one of you should be printing that off. You should put those dates in your calendar. Again, working proactively, not reactively. If you remembered 30 minutes before this call that we had a team call today and you're like, oh crap, should probably get on that, you are working reactively as opposed to proactively in your business. You should have planned out what this week is going to look like. You should know what's happening, what action hours you're going to be on. You should know those things. And I know that people might say, well, where was the post for this week of what's happening this week? Guess what? I may stop doing those because people quit looking at the team calendar. I purposely, I kind of got busy because Shay was here, number one. But I want you guys to be looking at the team calendar. Put those things on your planner. Guys, this is a business, okay? I'm not trying to sound like Kristen Cavallari over and over again. If anybody's ever seen her show, like I watched it once and she said, this is a business. This is a business, like 20 million times. And so Brian jokes with me because I say it a lot because I'm like, this is a business. But seriously, this is a business. And so you have to take ownership for this, okay? You are the CEO of your business. I'm not your boss. Your upline's not your boss. We are here to guide you. We're here to give you tools. But like, if you want to make this work, then you got to work, right? Like if you kind of sort of work, you'll kind of sort of get results. So if you want to see results in this business, you have to be proactive about it. The Proverbs 31 woman was not lazy. If you are looking for a good study, grab Michelle Meyer's Famous in Heaven and at Home Devo. It's like 1 page a day and it's so good, but she worked her booty off. She worked from sun up until sundown. Just because you're doing a business from home and your kids are there doesn't mean that you get to just like be lazy. You still have to be proactive. You still have to steward this well. You have to steward motherhood well. You have to steward business well. You have to steward your job and role as a mother well. Sorry, I'm going to step off my soapbox because I could probably start preaching about this. But print off your calendar, get these on your dates or on your planner. Create a monthly marketing plan for myself. And I decide what I'm going to get to send out to people each week, to my clients in advance. So every month, I make my team calendar. And then I basically just make a copy of it. And if anybody wants me to share that Canva link with them, I totally can. But I basically just make a copy of it. And on there, I add in my stuff. So like I'm going to do a free group this week and I put my goals off to the side and I print both of those off. I actually have them hanging on the side of my fridge. And that way too, like if Brian wants to see what team calls I have this week or what I have going on my calendar, he can easily look at it. But also it's really just there to kind of also remind me. And then I obviously too also put it in my planner, which I'll get to what planner I have here in just a bit. The third thing that I do monthly, so all of this is happening like leading up to the first day of the month, right? Most of the time, the reason I don't post a team calendar until October 1st or the first day of the month is because a lot of times Beachbody doesn't send us an email telling us what's happening that month until the first or day before. So sometimes it's 2 days before. It kind of just depends on how the weekend falls. And so that kind of delays me in being able to share the team calendar a little sooner. I would love to be able to share it like 4 weeks in advance, but I just don't always know what's happening within the world of Beachbody. I may not know the exact date of when 30-day breakaway is launching or something like that. So I want to make sure that that's all included. But a few days before, I'm getting all this together, right? I'm creating my monthly plan. I'm figuring out what do I want my changing lives goal to be that month, kind of setting those goals. And then I batch schedule all of my challenge group content for the month. Yes, this takes 2 to 3 hours, but it is worth every single moment, an hour that I have to spend. When I was working full time, obviously I didn't have as much time to, do things during that time and that sort of thing that I have now, which we'll talk about again later. But what I would do is on like Sunday evening or even sometimes like a Saturday morning or like there was a few times even I think I went at like 4 or 5 when Brian got home from work. I just went to Starbucks and I was like, I just want to take this one day and I'm just going to go there for like 2 hours and knock it all out, schedule every single post for the month. And batch working is amazing because what I was able to do is when you batch work, you can sit down and you can write out a ton of topics. So let's say you wanted to plan all your Instagram posts for the month of October. So for me, I kind of have a plan of what I post during the week. Again, we'll get to that later, but I have certain topics. So I could sit down and I could write out 5 nutrition posts and 5 posts on motherhood, because you know how it is. Like when you start to write a post and you're talking about nutrition, all of a sudden like 10 other nutrition things pop in your head and you're like, oh, that would be a good post. That would be a good post. So if you just sat down and you did the whole month, right, in one sitting, it makes it so much easier. What I would do is just pull out, and I'm getting to the nitty gritty here, but I just really want to share all the details with you guys. I would just literally pull up my calendar here and I would put nutrition post, nutrition post, nutrition post, nutrition post, and then whatever for each one. And then after I scheduled that post or wrote it out, I just put a check mark. Like I was doing it on my computer, but I just wanted to visually see. And then I know, okay, got that month done. So again, this took me 2 hours, but guess what? No coming up with posts week to week. No having to jump in that morning and post the post. I scheduled every single one of them. So yes, I still go in the app and I comment on my girls' stuff and I try to engage and that kind of thing, but I'm not stressing because that post went up, and I'm not stressing about social media, which I will talk about later, but I'm not stressing about these things because they're not things I'm doing daily. So sitting down and batch working is really powerful. If you're looking for some really good trainings on batch working, Jenna Kutcher does a really good job of explaining batch working. Again, batch working is just making things in batches. And you'll be really surprised at how much better content you're able to produce when you batch work as opposed to thinking in silos all the time. The next thing is things I do weekly. So I have set things that I do each day of the week. On Mondays, it's a call day. So, and I have a 15-minute call. Of course, some weeks we have them, some weeks we don't. For the most part, I try to have a 15-minute call with every single one of my diamond coaches every single Monday. So I have, I guess 6 or 7 diamond coaches. A few of them, we don't do them because they don't need them necessarily. But for 5 of my diamond coaches, we have a 15-minute call every Monday. It's just a kind of a check-in call. And then I have my personally sponsored coach call on Mondays at 1:30. And then obviously we have our team call. So I try to make Mondays kind of a day that like, I just don't do anything else in my business really, other than like my power hour, like the set things that I do every single day. But it's kind of a day when I do calls. This, for those of you who are wondering, just because I want to be totally transparent about how I do things. And I'll share this a little bit later of my actual schedule, but I hang out with my kids from 9 to 12. I don't do any work. I don't personally like doing work with my kids, mostly because it feels very unproductive. And I would rather have the afternoon while they're napping to just sit down and get focused and knock out a ton of stuff, or one morning a week I have a sitter who comes, because it's just personally for me very difficult for me to get a whole lot done. However, I will finish up things that are on my tracker. Like if there's just a few things, I may finish up a few things that are kind of mindless, but I wouldn't have like calls while they're awake, if that makes sense. So these things that I'm listing here are mostly things I'm kind of doing during nap time, because my action hour kind of happens early morning before they're awake. And then sometimes it may be 30 minutes of while they're awake, finishing their breakfast or something like that. And I only share that because I know I have lots of moms on here who just want to know the details of kind of how I run my business, which again, we'll get into a little bit more here in a bit. Tuesdays is kind of a writing day for me. I'm trying to make space for writing and sitting down and coming up with content, writing more blog posts, that kind of thing. I also write for She Works This Way. I do 2 Devos a month. So that kind of gives me time to work on those and that kind of thing. Wednesdays are all about scheduling social media and groups for the next week. So I said earlier, I schedule all my challenge groups for the month, like entirely, but this is more for like, when I say groups, I mean like the new coach mentorship and the diamond push group or whatever it is that I'm supposed to be posting in the next week. I try to sit down and schedule those on Wednesday. On Thursday, it's all about recognition and adding new customers into ConvertKit from the week before, and then sending out cards to my new customers and coaches. Friday is kind of a catch-up day for me. So I try to use that as brain dumping and planning and kind of thinking about the next week. Again, within all of these days, like if a coach needs a call or a client needs to do a call, I do have random little calls in these days, but those are kind of my focus of what I try to do. There's been a lot of Wednesdays when I haven't gotten anything done. Last Wednesday, I didn't even work at all because I went to hang out with some of my friends. So on Friday, I kind of made up for Wednesday. So I like that Friday is kind of like a catch-up day, because if there's something I can't get done, then I have that day to kind of catch up on it. Okay, so daily, this is my schedule, and I kind of just wanted to share it because I know that everybody wants the details. So I really try to own my morning, and I try to knock out as much as I can before my kids are up. I do not like having things hanging over my head. So the other day I actually got up and I got almost everything on my to-do list done before they were awake. And I skipped my workouts like that morning. And then I did it while they were up. I think everyone's different. And I think you just have to find what works for you. Obviously everyone's kids get up at a different time. I don't always wake up at 5 either. Like there has been a lot of weeks days over the past few weeks that I've gotten up at 6. So you know, I just try to listen to my body. I really try to get 8 hours of sleep. So if we're getting in bed at 10, which happens a lot on Monday nights just because we have team calls, then I push my alarm clock back. And, you know, that might mean that I don't get any work done, and that's okay. Then I'll just work while they're up and while they're eating their breakfast. And that kind of thing. So this is just kind of this was for me actually. So I copy and pasted this from like my Excel spreadsheet that I have. But Brian and I had sat down and we had gone over all of this together. And this is just kind of what I shoot for doing. On the days that I get up at 6, you know, I'll just kind of not do that work. So 6:45 to 7:30 just kind of goes away. And I'm up at 6, I do my Bible study. That's a non-negotiable for me. And then I would do my workout. And then, you know, obviously I even have on here the workout's an hour. A lot of times it's just 30 minutes. So then it might butt right up to them getting up. So then I would take some time, maybe 30 minutes to kind of work on my action hour stuff, which I can get done pretty quickly just because I have been doing this business for a while. So some of the action hour stuff, like I can do within 30 to 45 minutes sometimes, depending on. But this just kind of gives you guys an idea of like what our mornings look like and how I'm kind of able to get things done. Again, it's not robotic, right? Like things don't go like this all the time. Like probably most of the time it doesn't look like this, but this is what I shoot for to try to make sure I'm getting everything done. When in doubt, always do these things. So these are the things that I do every single day. So I told you guys, I'm just going to go back to it. I told you guys that I do these things each day. These are things that are on top of my action hour. These are the things that I'm making sure I do every single day. Inviting, I shoot for 3 coaches a day, adding 50 people on social media a day, inbox to 0, DMs to 0, personal development, and obviously my workout. I didn't put that on here because duh. But these are the things that I'm doing every single day that are non-negotiables. And then these are the things that are kind of over and above, right? So when I'm sitting down to do a little work in the mornings, I first do my my She Works His Way business tracker, which every day, I mean, you guys see me post this on social media. If you follow me, is a quick prayer, task list, a little block schedule for the day, 3 things I'm grateful for. And, you know, that's basically what I do. There is a little section here, but some days I don't get to that. But I do this every single morning, and then that's when I dive into these. So I usually start with my inbox and then my DMs, and then start moving to the other things. So these are the things that are happening every single day. Okay, so things that you need in order to be productive and efficient in your business. You need a good planner. I love the one that I have, and I have it in my Amazon storefront, which you guys can find at my link tree in my bio of my Instagram. This is called the Day Designer. This is not, so there's a Day Designer that's like on their website, but it's really expensive. And there's a Day Designer that's on Amazon, and I think this one was like $22. I love this. A couple reasons why I personally love it is that there is a top 3. So you guys can see here my top 3 for today. We're prepped the PowerPoint for tonight. Hello, which I did. Meal train. I need to set up a meal train for one of my friends. What's happening post in our team page. DMs to 0, inbox to 0, text to 0. Those were just 3 things I was like, I have to get those back to 0 because it's Monday. And then obviously then all the things that I typically do. So, and then I had all my calls written down. The thing I love about this planner is that it has an hourly breakdown, but then it has like, you could do a brain dump here, but just have your 3 things. And this really helps me because, you know, yes, there may be a ton of things not marked off down here, but if these 3 things are done, it was a good day. You know what I'm saying? So I think just, it's really easy to get caught up in finding your worth, or, you know, even labeling a day good or bad based on what you got done. But I think if I've got those 3 things done, it just helps me be like, oh, it was a good day, you know, like, and then these things can move to the next day. Obviously, you know, I do need to get my text to 0 because probably have several of you here waiting for a text back from me. But they're not things that are like have to happen. And so I love that planner. I also love that it's got like the calendar view or the monthly view and weekly view and weekend view and all that kind of stuff too. It's really great. And especially for the money of $22, I feel like you can't beat that. The second thing that you need, these are just the 2 things that you have to have. The second thing is a business tracker. So you need to have the business tracker printed off, and you need to be using it as your guide every single day. Remember that success leaves clues. I always remember that because I think a lot of times people come into this business and they're like, I'm going to do this business different. Sorry, I think someone is not muted. So I'm going to mute them really quick because it keeps coming back to me. So if you're not muted, make sure you're muted. So I think a lot of times people come into this business and they're like, you know what, like, I'm going to do this business differently. Like, you know, I'm going to do this business and I'm going to figure out a new way of doing this business. And I try to do that for the first 3 years that I was a coach. But let me tell you guys right now, success leaves clues. Like, there is a reason that top coaches are top coaches. There is a reason that coaches who have been successful in this business are successful. And it's because like they figured something out, right? And I think a lot of times we think that like we need to pave this new way, when in reality, we take things that they do and we learn from them. And the business tracker is the basics. Like, the people that put the business tracker together were the market council of top coaches. They basically, Beachbody said, hey, what works in this business? What are the things that the top coaches that you see every single day, you know, doing this business, or maybe your new coaches who are taking off, what are the things that they are doing? And hands down, these were the things. And that is how they created the business tracker. Some people go to Kinko's and they print them all off. They print off like 365 of them or whatever, because take Sundays out because I don't want you guys working on Sundays. You know, print them all off and they have them bound up, and you know, they use that every single day. Do what you need to do to make sure that you're using the business tracker. It is an incredible guide. We have the Team Beachbody business tracker, and then we have one that I created that's basically it with a few extra things. But print that off because success leaves clues. Doing those things on that list, like how you do those things might look a little bit different from person to person. And that's where the creativity and the differences come in. We're all going to kind of approach this business differently based on who we are and what we're passionate about. But the basics of what is on the tracker are the same. And so make sure that if you want to really be proactive and productive in this business, if you're here to grow your business, like, you've got to have those two things. So make sure that you print that off. If you are wondering where it is, you can find it in the Fit for His Glory Sisters Google Drive underneath of New Coach Toolkit. There's one that says Business Activity Tracker. The Beachbody one is in there, and our team one is in there as well. So go check that out. Also, I'm sure you can go to Google and just type in Business Activity Tracker Beachbody, and it would probably pop up as well. Okay. So how I own social media without letting it own me. So I think this is something that a lot of coaches fall into. They get burnt out because they spend so much time just scrolling Instagram, and it's not productive time. It's literally just like they're on there and they're just like, well, maybe she would be good. Or, they're just scrolling and they're not actually doing anything. Like they're not actually being productive. They're not being efficient with their time. And so for me, like, I love Instagram. Like I really do. I think it's fun. I think it's a cool creative outlet. Like it doesn't feel like work for me. Like it truly doesn't. I'm like, oh, I love this. And I think it's because for me, I think it's incredible that I get to be a stay-at-home mom with my kids and build a business like I've built through an app on my phone. Like, the fact that I'm able to connect with all of you guys because of Instagram is insane to me. And so I feel like social media gets a really bad rap, and like understandably so, because there are so many negative things about it, but there's a lot of positive things about it too, right? Like think about some of the people that are probably getting to hear the gospel who have never would have heard the gospel if it wasn't for Instagram and social media and the places it's able to reach. And so I just think about things like that all the time. And I want for social media to continue to be a place where like I love to hang out. And so for me, I want to own my social media, but I don't want to let it own me. I don't want to get to a place where I'm comparing and, just not content with who I am and what we have. I don't want to get on Instagram all the time and be thinking about, well, I'd love to have that porch, or I'd love to have that kitchen. Like, just be able to get in and do my work and love it, but get out, right? And so each Wednesday or Friday, like I said earlier, I take time to plan my social media captions for the next week. And for me, this just helps me not be stressed. I get in, I post my posts, and I'm not comparing my content to other people because I kind of am tending to just get in there and post it. I think sometimes when we're in a bind and we wake up and we're like, man, I need to post on social media today. So then what do? We go and we scroll social media and we look at Ashley Smith's post, and we look at, Michelle Meyer's post, or we look at my post, or we look at another coach on our team's post. And then all of a sudden we're like, well, I just don't feel like I have anything to say. Like they're so smart and they're such good writers. And we just start to tell ourselves all these stupid lies, like seriously, stupid lies. Whereas if I woke up in the morning and I've got my notes section and I just go to my post and I copy it and I pull my picture and I post it and boom, I'm out. Post it, done. Or post it and stay on for a few minutes and interact with people who are commenting and I'm out, right? All of a sudden, like social media was kind of fun that day. It wasn't something, that was, dragged me down. Honestly, a lot of times I'll read my caption and be like, man, that was really good. Because like, I don't even remember really what I wrote about because I'm kind of just pulling things that God's been teaching me. And I also feel like that it keeps social media in its rightful place. I feel like a lot of times it's good for us to share what God's doing in our lives, right? Like that's good. It's good to be real on social media. It's good to share because people relate to that. But I do feel like sometimes we need to spend time with the Lord. We need to be in the Word. We need to allow Him to be doing things in our life and not always say, okay, I've just read this in my Bible study. Now I'm going to sit up and I'm going to type it on Instagram. And all of a sudden we took our Bible study leader's words, I'm going to use like this, hey, dear mama one, like I'm over here doing it and I read it and I'm like, oh, that's really good. Okay, type that up. And all of a sudden I just used all of her words and made it sound like it was my words in an Instagram caption. And I think we have to be careful with that because sometimes I think that we don't allow it to simmer, and God, like your time in the Word should not equal your personal development time. Like that might step on some toes tonight, some people might not like that, but like, I don't believe that my time with Jesus is me marking off personal development on my checklist. No, that is not the same thing. My time with Jesus is about growing my relationship with the Lord, growing in intimacy with Him. It's like having relationship with your husband, you spend time with him so that you guys have a strong relationship, right? Like if I didn't talk to the Lord and I just went through my day and I didn't wake up and get in the word and put on the armor, like the relationship and the closeness wouldn't feel the same because I'm not spending time with him, right? I'm not spending time together. And so for me, that is not personal development. Personal development is watching a video later in the day or a podcast while I'm unloading the dishwasher about coaching or something within social media or something I'm trying to learn about. And so for me, and I think this is true for a lot of people, for me, planning my post a week in advance, sitting down and scheduling out what next week's going to look like just takes that pressure off. And it allows for the Lord to really work in me. And I will still, like, if I feel like the Lord's saying something to me or there's something I want to share, I'll just go to my notes section of my phone and type it up right then and there. And then on Wednesday or Friday, whenever it is that I plan my social post for the next week, I can just copy and paste posts that I've written out. So that just helps me make sure that I'm allowing things to simmer and I'm really sharing from a place of what God's teaching me and not just saying this and this, right? Because another thing too, and I'm not trying to continue to talk about this, but another thing too you have to be careful with is that you don't want to be in the word and all you're thinking about is what can you share? That's not what that's about. That's a consumer mindset of like, okay, let me take, and what can I go share with people to grow my Instagram account, right? So I think it's just, you really have to guard against that. And so this is going to really help you. So when it comes to pictures, because I get this question a lot too, I'll plan out my posts, the captions, and then over the weekend, I'll try to take photos. So like we'll come home from church and be like, Brian, will you snap a photo of me and the kids on the porch? Or can you get a photo of me while I'm working? Because I'm actually dressed and I actually have makeup on and I actually look decent. And so I'll just try to kind of get some photos during the weekend. Like yesterday, actually, I was doing a workout, like a stretching workout, and I just set my phone up and took a few photos for one of my posts this week. And that way, like, I've got it, it's edited, it's ready to go. Cause I don't like the stress again of having to wake up in the morning and try to figure out a picture for the day. I want to work proactive, not reactive in my business. And so that's kind of how I gather up the pictures. I do shoot to do one reel a week. So I try to think about doing one, just because reels, and anytime Instagram comes out with something new, the quicker you can jump on it, the better. Because what happens is that Instagram knows like, oh, she's using Instagram TV, or, oh, she's using the Reels portion, and they reward you by making your stuff more visible to people. So take advantage of those things. Anna Bay has had huge success using Reels. She's hopping on there all the time. She watches TikTok videos and gets ideas and things, and then she's making amazing Reels. So this is how I make my social media posts down here. It's literally just notes on my iPhone, and I love it because I have a Mac, so they sync. So when I go to my computer, they're there, and when I look at my phone, they're there. But I start with the question, today my people need to hear. And I've personally got a few different topics. So I have 5 different topics. Marriage, wife, motherhood, that's kind of one for me. So I try to write one post a week on that. I try to write another post on productivity, scheduling, owning your morning. I try to write a post on nutrition, a post on fitness, and then a post on faith. So those are kind of my 5 that I try to stay within, that I do one post each. Okay, here are my top tips for women working outside the home and working Beachbody. And I actually made a graphic and used these words in that graphic. So I kind of just copied and pasted it because I wanted you guys to see this. I made this in a moment when I had just had Emmeline, and it was just, she was the only one I had. But I was working full-time in my business, or with Red Bull at the time, and working Beachbody as my side hustle. And so these are the things that I personally wrote out. I made a little graphic, but I wrote out were things that I did. And so I was looking back on it, I was like, man, like, I just want to share this tonight because I think it's easy to look at me and be like, okay, well, taking tips from Caroline, but like, she works during nap time. She's full-time Beachbody coach. But like, literally in February, I was working full-time and working this as a side hustle. So like, I get it. 6 years of this business, I was working full-time and had a kid and then 2 kids. And so, you know, I thought it'd be good to share from real life, from the moment. So number 1 on my list was wake up early. Get up and get your workout done early. I made a decision a long time ago that I would get up early, spend time with Jesus, and get my sweat in. If I finish working out and Emmeline wakes up or still sleeping, I'll either do my personal development or reply to emails and go ahead and get ready for the day. The second thing I put was listen to personal development on your commute to work or during your lunch break. So this is a great time to mark that off the list. Maybe for me, I had a lot of like going to meetings and going to like meet people for meetings. And so I was able to kind of listen to things then. I know that's not everyone's reality, but even if we had some friends over this weekend, and her husband, he said he's able to listen to a lot of stuff while he's at work. So he can leave one of his headphones in. Maybe you listen to personal development during that time when you're doing something that's kind of mindless at work. I'm not saying don't steward your job that God's given you well. I'm just saying, like, if it's something mindless and you're able to, maybe fit it in that way. Have calls with challengers as you're driving to work or coming home. Like, mark those things off then. So that way you don't have to be on calls late at night every single night. Maybe use your lunch break, go to your car and have your lunch and do calls then. Again, remembering that if you kind of sort of work, you'll kind of sort of get results. So if you want to make this happen, you're going to have to make some sacrifices. And that might mean not sitting at the lunch table with all your friends. But you have to remember your why. Why are you doing this? Because you're putting in the hustle so that you can be home, or that you can cut back on hours, or that you can just provide more for your family, or whatever that why is for you. Get as much done as possible on Monday morning / night and Friday morning. And this will really help set you up for success in the upcoming week. I try to make Mondays and Tuesdays heavy days for me, so that by the time Friday comes, I don't have to work if I don't want to, because I want to hang with my kids, or we want to go do something, or maybe I want to do something for myself. I want to like just chill and like read a book or get my nails done or whatever. Like, then I never get my nails done, by the way. I painted them myself. So I don't know why I use that example. But you guys get the point. Like, I can do something for me if I want, because I've loaded up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so I can get a lot of my work done and I don't have to stress about it later in the week. And so try to think about how you can do that in your business. Pre-plan, we talked about that a second ago, batch working, plan your social media out so you're not stressing about things each day. If you're married, ask for help from your spouse. Say, hey, can one night a week, can I hop on this training and be here and be in this? Ask them to kind of help catch the vision of what you're wanting to do. I think that's huge, having your spouse's support. Break up your power hour into power pockets. I would just print off, again, this is why it's good to have your checklist, print off your checklist, have it with you. That way, if you're sitting in the oil change line, you can knock out some invites on your phone and you can mark that off your list. Like, just get creative about what you're doing. I mean, just think about like every moment that you have as an opportunity to get some things done within your business. Okay, so here are some systems that have helped me really save some time. So we talked about pre-planning social media. That really is going to be a time saver for you guys. The social media stories planner on the Google Drive, it's under New Coach Toolkits, New Coach Tools and then social media. That's another really great tool. Basically, it is like a bunch of ideas and then a calendar, and you print them both off, and you can literally plan out what you're going to talk about on social media on Instagram stories for the next month. So just sitting down and being very proactive about what the month is going to look like. The third thing that really helps me is Google email templates. So I have tons of Google email templates. This is a screenshot. If you do not know what Google email templates is, you can look it up on YouTube and type in Google email templates, and there's actual tutorials on how to do it. But I have templates for like pretty much everything at this point. So if someone's like, hey, can I get information on the 30-day breakaway? All I have to do is put in their email address, go down to templates, and then boom, I just put in that email. So I have a lot of systems like that just help alleviate time. And then, I'm not sitting here trying to type up an email for 30 minutes. I just go boom, 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 send. That's it. And so it's really, really easy. All right, y'all. I feel like I just talked so much. That's all I have as far as presentation goes, but I would love to just take any questions that you guys have. Let's see. I'm going through here to see what all you guys were saying. Okay, and you can unmute yourself if you have any questions. I think the big thing here is, guys, like, I just want you guys to know, like, we do not want you to be overwhelmed in this business. Like, if you are feeling overwhelmed, reach out to your upline and ask them how they can help you not feel overwhelmed. That is not, this business should be something that brings you joy. It was never meant to be like a joy sucker or something that's breaking up your marriage or like putting strain on your marriage. Like, if that is happening, I want you guys to know that, like, we do not want that for you. So please, like, reach out to us. We want to help you guys figure out how you can work this business and be really good at it and be successful, but also, like, we want you guys to thrive at home with your kids, with your husband. Like, we want you to be thriving in your full-time job. Like, we're not trying to take away time from that. So I just want to make sure that everyone really knows our heart in that. Like, we want you to be famous and having it at home first, because we think that's your greatest ministry. And we want you to also be super successful in Beachbody, right? Like, we want to help give you all the tools that we can so that you're loving this and you're able to be proactive and efficient with what you're doing and be wise with how you're spending your time. Any particular tips for college planning? I didn't work this business when I was in college, but I will tell you right now, and this is probably going to step on some toes, but you think you don't have a lot of time in college, and then you get married and you have a full-time job, and I'm just trying to be real with you. I know college is a lot. I know it's a lot, especially if you're working a job and you've got classes and you've got homework. But I think I wish I would have started this business in college. I'm personally, I will say this, I'm very thankful I started this business before I had kids. I do think it was a blessing because I hustled a lot those first few years. And because me and Brian we didn't have kids, and I could stay up and I could sleep in and I could do, whatever. And so, but I think, like, use this time. Like, how incredible would it be if you graduate from college and you didn't have to take the traditional 9-to-5 job because you had an incredible business that you had built? Like, that is 100% possible. So I think, just being really wise with your time. I think a lot of college students are not, like, I'm not saying get up at 5, but like maybe get up at 6 or 7 and knock it out and get it done. If you've got 8 a.m. classes, like, stay on campus for an extra hour and go to the library and, put on your alarm clock and set it for an hour and just get focused. Like, turn off social media and just work for an hour, turn off texting and work for an hour. Like, I don't know, like, just really utilizing the time that you have. And also think about in person. Like, when you're in college, that's an incredible opportunity to build in-person community. I know for me now, like, social media is the easiest way because I'm not necessarily, like, around people every day. But as a college student, you are, like, think about, like, hey, how could you host, like, an in-person workout, or like have some of your friends over to work out? I know apartment complexes have, like, gyms and or whatever. A lot of apartment complexes do, or like, what could you do? Like, even working with, like, your college ministry, like, maybe y'all could do something through that. But just get really creative about how you're kind of doing that, I think would definitely help. Do you use the Day Designer and Biz Tracker? Yes, because the business tracker is really not a planner. It doesn't have enough room for me to be able to, like, really brain dump and do all the things. So, I mean, I love the business tracker and I do think it's an incredible tool. But I feel like my planner is more important, if that makes sense. You could probably, take the planner and write out some of the things in it from the business tracker. If you just kind of do the quick prayer, the task list, the 3 things you're grateful for. I have seen, like, the B brand and some other companies have started coming out with, like, little notepads that you can do similar things with that the business tracker has, that you may not need all the things in here. Because I do think it can be a little overwhelming. I'm just being very transparent, but I do love it. My big question is, do you do your power hour first thing and save nap time for the other things? No, I typically, I think I kind of said this, but so for me, I'll, like, try to do some of my power hour, but I don't always get all of it done. So, like, I will do it. And then I guess this is what you were asking. And then nap time is whatever the other thing I was doing. So you know how I told you each day I have a thing? That's usually when I do it is during nap time. But sometimes, sorry, I feel like this is not a cut and dry answer, but sometimes, I mean, not every day goes perfectly, right? Like sometimes we're rushing out the door to get gymnastics or whatever. So then like, yes, I have to take power hour or take the first hour of my nap time and finish my power hour and then get to whatever it is I was going to do. Or like tonight, I didn't get all of my power hour done today because I had to build out this PowerPoint for tonight and I had to do a bunch of other things during my nap time hustle. So tonight after this, I'm going to stay up for 30 minutes and I'm going to finish up my power hour and then I'll go to bed. So, which means I'll probably wake up at 6 or 5:30. So, but you know, that's just, I think you just have to you have to have flexibility, especially as a mom, you know, but if you're working full time, you've got to be a little bit more strict about when you're getting it all done. Let's see. Yeah, Aaron has a great point. Like your kids can run crazy. I feel like I'm in a season in life where I can't work out with my kids, not because of Emmeline, because of Corbin. The kid is into everything. And like, he would probably crawl down the driveway out into the road right now. If he's just crazy. So he's the one I can't work out with. Emmeline's golden. Like she'll just play and ride her bike in the driveway and like, it's fine. So if it you know, I think again, season of life, right? And I told my friend this today, just remember that everything is a season. Like you're going to blink and your kids are going to be old enough to play in the driveway while you work out. You're going to blink and your kids are going to be able to stay home and hang out while you go for your run. So just figure it out and be graceful with yourself and just know that like everything's a season. And like, I think just figure out ways to make it happen. Like we make happen what we want to make happen. Like if right now you really, really, really wanted an ice cream cone or something like that, and you were eating unhealthy, then you would figure out a way to go get that. Like, let's be real. And I think as Brian gets ice cream out of the freezer, I'm literally watching him. He just came in and he got ice cream out of the freezer. Like seriously, dude. But I purposely buy ice cream that has chocolate in it because I don't like chocolate, so it doesn't tempt me. But my point here is like you will make happen what you want to make happen. So like time to me is not an excuse. When coaches tell me, I just don't have time for this, like, okay, well, what did you think? Like this is a business. Like, of course you're going to have to work. Money's not just going to show up in your bank account. Sorry, that's just not how it works. But yeah, so I think, I don't even know where I was going with that. I think just giving yourself grace of like figuring it out and just knowing that different seasons are going to bring different things. Let's see, someone else. Do you have a pre-workout meal in the morning after Bible study? It said you eat in small amount. No, I like to eat fasted. I just never have liked eating before workouts. Like it makes me feel sick. Everyone's different, but I personally like drink my Energize and Hydrate mix together while I'm doing my Bible study and then just go right to the garage and work out. And then I usually will like eat right after. I usually have Recover and then I'll else I'll have a shake, one of the two. Eat in a small amount of time. Yeah. So I don't eat, I do work out fasted. We talk a lot about managing time in college on my team. Demi and I'll share some. Oh yeah. Keely. I love that. Thank you, Keely. You're awesome. I'm so far removed from college. That was like 10 years ago. So I'm not the best resource for college, what to do. Finding new clients / coaches when your circle is small. Oh, okay. So you're just asking, how do you go about doing that? I mean, here's the thing. Again, this is also not an excuse, but like I have so many coaches, y'all, who have come into this, who have small circles of friends. Like, I mean, if I have people on our team who are from small towns, like Erin, I'm just going to say it. Erin's from a small town. Like there's like one red light, like she's from a small town and 0 red lights. Okay, there we go. 0 red lights. Like, and she has figured out how to make this work. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to have a bunch of friends and be like, you know, the homecoming queen to be like, I was not the homecoming queen. So if anybody thinks that, I was not. But you don't have to have a whole bunch of friends to make this business work. Like Carly said, Hicksville has 3 red lights. That's funny. But my whole point is like, I have girls on my team who have had 1,000,001 friends. Like I have a girl who was on our team. She's not anymore. I knew her personally. She had so many friends. Like she had so many friends. Guess what? She never hit Success Club. She never hit Success Starters. She even had a fitness business before she started this, so it should have been easy. Friends and your circle have nothing to do with your success in this business. Like, most of my clients are people I don't know. And I will even say probably in the last year or two is when people I do know have started to join me. And it's probably because they needed to watch me do it for a while before they said yes, because they knew me and they knew that I didn't do fitness before. So they probably just wanted to see if I was legit or if I was going to quit, like most people do in network marketing. So it takes time. And, you know, some people it's going to be quicker than others. And I don't know why, and I can't really tell you the math equation for it, but I do think that, you know, obviously the more people you talk to and the more relationships you build, yes, the quicker you're going to get yeses. But I don't know. I just want to encourage you in that, because it really does not it really doesn't have anything to do with the amount of friends that you have. I think it's more about just sharing your journey, connecting with people. You can build an incredible business just through people on Instagram that you've met. So, anything else? I feel like I dove deep tonight. Hopefully this was helpful, but I'm an open book. So if anybody has a question, like, I seriously am an open book about everything, because there is no secrets and I want you guys to be successful. So, okay, it's 9:05. I started 5 minutes late. I've gone 5 minutes over. I'm going to let you guys know. I'm so sorry. But let me pray for you and we'll get a pick and I'll let you guys go. Heavenly Father God, thank you so much, Lord, for these women who showed up here on a Monday night, who are putting their yes on the table. I'm sure that I stepped on some of their toes tonight, Lord, but I pray that they would give me grace and that they would know that, like, it really is just coming from a place where, like, I just want to see them be successful, Lord. And God, I know that you've given us this incredible gift for a reason. And so, Lord, I know this isn't for everyone. I'm not saying it is. But God, I just pray that you would give us the discipline and the determination and the perseverance to push through. God, I know that running a business isn't natural for everyone. It wasn't natural for me, God. But I pray that you would just help us make wise choices in how we are stewarding our time that you have given us, God. Or that we would really just be wise in how we look at this business, how we approach it, God, what we do with our time, just our productivity and our efficiency, God. We want to make sure that when we're showing up here, we're really giving our best, but we're also not taking away from our most important calling of being wives and moms and just pointing people to you, Jesus. God, I pray over these women. I pray that you would just give them discipline, multiply their efforts, multiply their time, God. If they show up for an hour, would you just turn it into 4? God, that you would give them the eyes to see the people that they're supposed to help, fresh eyes, God. Maybe people they're not even thinking about, God, but Lord, just fresh eyes, God. Would you expand their circles, God? Just like Alicia asked, Lord, I pray that you would just expand their circles, that you would do more than they could ever think or imagine through this business, God. Lord, we love you so much. Use us this week, God, for your glory and the good of others. And it's in your name we pray. Amen. All right, let's get a picture real quick and then I will let you guys go. Thank you guys so much for being on. And hopefully, again, I really hope this was helpful for you guys. And feel free to shoot me an Instagram message if you have any questions. All right, I'm going to take a little picture real quick. Smile. Okay, hang on. There's 2 pages, and so I have to get the other page too because you may be on the second page, so who knows. Okay, one more. 1, 2, 3. All right, I love it. Thank you guys so much. You're awesome. Have a good night.